message to the people of Iran. The great king, Cyrus, has had a stake and a part in the history of this land and of this city, the city of the great King David.
In the first year of Cyrus, king of Persia, in order to fulfill the word of the Lord spoken by Jeremiah, the Lord moved the heart of Cyrus, king of Persia, to make a proclamation throughout his realm and to put it in writing. This is what Cyrus, king of Persia, says. The Lord, the God of heaven, has given me all the kingdoms of the earth, and he has appointed me to build a temple for him at Jerusalem in Judah. Any one of his people among you, may his God be with him, and let him go up to Jerusalem in Judah and build the temple of the Lord, the God of Israel, the God who is in Jerusalem. And the people of any place where survivors may now be living ought to provide him with silver and gold, with goods and livestock, and with freewill offerings for the temple of God in Jerusalem. Then the family heads of Judah and Benjamin, and the priests and Levites, everyone whose heart God had moved, prepared to go up and build the house of the Lord in Jerusalem. All their neighbors assisted them with articles of silver and gold, with goods and livestock, and with valuable gifts, in addition to all the freewill offerings. Moreover, King Cyrus brought out the articles belonging to the temple of the Lord, which Nebuchadnezzar had carried away from Jerusalem and had placed in the temple of his God. Cyrus, king of Persia, had them brought by Mithridath, the treasurer, who counted them up.
The great King Cyrus, the great King Darius, and the great King Artaxerxes, the great kings of Persia, have had a hand and a leadership role in building the second temple here in Jerusalem. The great kings of Persia have issued a decree that anyone who would seek to reverse the edict of the great kings of Persia, that his house should be torn down.
King Darius then issued an order, and they searched in the archives stored in the treasury at Babylon. A scroll was found in the citadel of Ecbatana, in the province of Media, and this was written on it. Memorandum: in the first year of King Cyrus, the king issued a decree concerning the temple of God in Jerusalem. Let the temple be rebuilt as a place to present sacrifices, and let its foundations be laid. It is to be 90 feet high and 90 feet wide, with 3 courses of large stones and 1 of timbers. The costs are to be paid by the royal treasury. Also, the gold and silver articles of the house of God, which Nebuchadnezzar took from the temple in Jerusalem and brought to Babylon, are to be returned to their places in the temple in Jerusalem. They are to be deposited in the house of God. Now then, Tattenai, governor of Trans-Euphrates, and Shethar-Bozenai, and you, their fellow officials of that province, stay away from there. Do not interfere with the work on this temple of God. Let the governor of the Jews and the Jewish elders rebuild this house of God on its site. Moreover, I hereby decree what you are to do for these elders of the Jews in the construction of this house of God. The expenses of these men are to be fully paid out of the royal treasury, from the revenues of Trans-Euphrates, so that the work will not stop. Whatever is needed, young bulls, rams, male lambs for burnt offerings to the God of heaven, and wheat, salt, wine, and oil, as requested by the priests in Jerusalem, must be given them daily without fail, so that they may offer sacrifices pleasing to the God of heaven, and pray for the well-being of the king and his sons. Furthermore, I decree that if anyone changes this edict, a beam is to be pulled from his house, and he is to be lifted up and impaled on it. And for this crime his house is to be made a pile of rubble. May God, who has caused his name to dwell there, overthrow any king or people who lifts a hand to change this decree, or to destroy this temple in Jerusalem. I, Darius, have decreed it. Let it be carried out with diligence.
And that he should be impaled upon the beam of his house, and his house should be made a pile of rubble. Well, this is exactly what Ahmadinejad is doing to your country. He is dishonoring the great kings of Persia. Now, what is your leader now doing to you, Iran? What are your leaders doing to you? They are dishonoring your heritage. They are dishonoring your great history. Yes, Iran does have a role of leadership in the world for the future. For Iran is a great nation. But once Iran restores its foundation and restores the principles of its great kings Cyrus, Darius, and Artaxerxes.
This is a copy of a letter King Artaxerxes had given to Ezra the priest and teacher, a man learned in matters concerning the commands and decrees of the Lord for Israel. Artaxerxes, king of kings. To Ezra the priest, a teacher of the law of the God of heaven. Greetings. Now I decree that any of the Israelites in my kingdom, including priests and Levites, who wish to go to Jerusalem with you, may go. You are sent by the king and his 7 advisers to inquire about Judah and Jerusalem with regard to the law of your God, which is in your hand. Moreover, you are to take with you the silver and gold that the king and his advisers have freely given to the God of Israel, whose dwelling is in Jerusalem, together with all the silver and gold you may obtain from the province of Babylon, as well as the free will offerings of the people and priests for the temple of their God in Jerusalem. With this money, be sure to buy bulls, rams, and male lambs, together with their grain offerings and drink offerings, and sacrifice them on the altar of the temple of your God in Jerusalem. You and your brother Jews may then do whatever seems best with the rest of the silver and gold, in accordance with the will of your God. Deliver to the God of Jerusalem all the articles entrusted to you for worship in the temple of your God, and anything else needed for the temple of your God that you may have occasion to supply, you may provide from the royal treasury. Now I, King Artaxerxes, order all the treasurers of Trans-Euphrates to provide with diligence whatever Ezra the priest, a teacher of the law of the God of heaven, may ask of you, up to 100 talents of silver, 100 cores of wheat, 100 baths of wine, 100 baths of olive oil, and salt without limit. Whatever the God of heaven has prescribed, let it be done with diligence for the temple of the God of heaven. Why should there be wrath against the realm of the king and of his sons? You are also to know that you have no authority to impose taxes, tribute, or duty on any of the priests, Levites, singers, gatekeepers, temple servants, or other workers at this house of God. And you, Ezra, in accordance with the wisdom of your God, which you possess, appoint magistrates and judges to administer justice to all the people of Trans-Euphrates, all who know the laws of your God. And you are to teach any who do not know them. Whoever does not obey the law of your God and the law of the king must surely be punished by death, banishment, confiscation of property, or imprisonment.
We hold out our hands in peace to the people of Iran. And I call upon the people of Iran to take down your counterfeit leaders who are not great as the great leaders of Persia who overcome the greatest kingdoms of the world, the kingdom of Babylon. Now your leaders are dishonoring the kings of Persia. But we hold out our hand in friendship. I personally have called for the bombing of Iran's nuclear facilities. The time to start bombing Iran is now. The time for Bibi to stop talking is now. Who you guys want? Called free speech, and I don't care if the police with guns want to stop me. I'm not afraid of their guns. I'm not afraid of their bullets. There's a threat to Israel, and it's real. That threat is coming from Iran. That threat is coming from Iran. It's time to tell Bibi to get off his ass and start bombing. There's a message from Lamar. But right now I'm here at the eve of Independence Week here in Israel, and I'm here at a square, Talita Kumi. This building is called Talita Kumi, and these are the 2 olive trees that have joined hands this year and it's a symbol of friendship. To the people of Iran, we hold out the olive branch that you will remove your evil leaders and you will join us in providing hope to the world. Here is your coin. Here is your Iranian coin, and what you can see is the Lion of Judah and the rising sun of a new age of hope and freedom and prosperity for the world. And so I ask the people of Iran to restore your history, your great history, and you will restore your great future. Do not allow Ahmadinejad and do not allow any leaders to drag you down to the pit of hell, to the pit of fire, because you go against your history. Now is the time of opportunity, and it is in your coins. I too am Persian, a Jew from Persian descent. I have a right to speak about what I speak about. And I call upon all the people of Iran, even its leaders, to join Israel in a new future, one that will lead nations from the United Nations into the kingdom of David. Amen.
The men went as a group to the king and said to him,
Remember, O king, that according to the law of the Medes and Persians, no decree or edict that the king issues can be changed.
So the king gave the order, and they brought Daniel and threw him into the lion's den. The king said to Daniel,
May your God, whom you serve continually, rescue you.
A stone was brought and placed over the mouth of the den, and the king sealed it with his own signet ring, and with the rings of his nobles, so that Daniel's situation might not be changed. Then the king returned to his palace, and spent the night without eating and without any entertainment being brought to him, and he could not sleep. At the first light of dawn, the king got up and hurried to the lion's den. When he came near the den, he called to Daniel in an anguished voice,
Daniel, servant of the living God, has your God, whom you serve continually, been able to rescue you from the lions?
Daniel answered,
O king, live forever. My God sent his angel, and he shut the mouths of the lions. They have not hurt me, because I was found innocent in his sight. Nor have I ever done any wrong before you, O king.
The king was overjoyed, and gave orders to lift Daniel out of the den. And when Daniel was lifted from the den, no wound was found on him, because he had trusted in his God. At the king's command, the men who had falsely accused Daniel were brought in and thrown into the lion's den, along with their wives and children. And before they reached the floor of the den, the lions overpowered them and crushed all their bones. Then King Darius wrote to all the peoples, nations, and men of every language throughout the land,
May you prosper greatly. I issue a decree that in every part of my kingdom, people must fear and reverence the God of Daniel. For he is the living God, and he endures forever. His kingdom will not be destroyed. His dominion will never end. He rescues and he saves. He performs signs and wonders in the heavens and on earth. He has rescued Daniel from the power of the lions.
So Daniel prospered during the reign of Darius, and the reign of Cyrus the Persian.